listening to the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast for decision makers and action takers.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. Today we're talking about repurposing your content to grow your audience. So first of all, what is repurposing? That word, we hear it so many times, but what does it actually mean?
Well, why didn't you answer it for a change?
Put me on the spot there. Okay, so repurposing, say you've written a blog or you've done a video or you've been on one of our podcasts. Great, it is content. You put it out there, then what do you do with it? You could have spent 20 to 30 minutes recording the podcast with us. Are those 30 minutes lost? No. You take the episode, you turn it into little highlights, little snippets, little sound bites. They could be either using the audio or using the text from the audio. If you can remember the golden nuggets that you give out, then you can give those out again. If you have spent hours writing a blog post, then chop it up into social media posts, put it into a carousel, make top 10 tips out of it, turn it into a video, make it into shorts, reels, lots of things using the same information that you have. We, for example, at the podcast, we use each episode to make show notes. We use the transcription. We can turn them into blogs. We are now using the videos to turn them into shorts and reels and lots of things because we have, in our case, 5 years of content. So yes, we're going to reuse it because it's our time, it's our effort, it's our knowledge. You do it once and then send it out to all these other places. Anything to add to that, Melanie? Did I miss anything?
That was very clear way of explaining what repurposing is. But what is the point of doing it?
Well, the point is that you're not having to reinvent the wheel every time you sit down at your computer and go, what am I going to post? What am I going to talk about? What am I going to tell my audience now? So direct them to your website by saying, oh, have you read this? You know, it's in this blog I talk about XYZ. Or did you know that I was a world champion and whatever? Here's where I talk about that, and redirect them to read the longer version or to watch the video or to do lots of other things. I mean, even if it's not entirely related to your video, to your business, it is related to you. So anything that you do, if you have won a competition in something completely unrelated to your business, then shout about that too, because you're being personable, you are being a human, you are showing people a behind the scenes look, you are giving them extra information on what maybe they're into as well. So you build a relationship by sharing your tips and tricks on how to make the best cake if you're not a brand new cake maker, you know, like a proper cake maker. Things like that can really help, you know, storytelling.
I agree. I believe that you've covered many pertinent areas there. I just think there's one area you didn't include, and that was not everybody reads your blogs or reads your social posts or goes to your videos. And that's why we also repurpose, because our audience absorb information in lots of different ways. And sometimes by repurposing the same content in different ways, it's kind of absorbed in different ways by the same audience. And, you know, we've talked about this before, where it's like cluster marketing. So 1 minute they're seeing a social post saying, oh, this blog's been announced. Maybe they haven't even bothered looking at the blog. The next time they see something mentioned, it's a reel about the blog. And maybe they've engaged more with that, but maybe they still haven't had time to actually go over and have a look at the blog. Then maybe they've heard the podcast and the blog is referred to again. And they're like, everyone's raving about this blog. And so this is their opportunity to then go over. But, do you know, everything we've discussed so far has been online in some description, but you can repurpose stuff offline as well. It can be repurposed through an actual talk, speaking at an event. And that's another really, really good way to reach your audience. Admittedly, a much smaller audience because it's in person, but it's still another way of reaching people. So why are we telling people that they need to repurpose?
Because you put all the time and effort and all your expertise and all your knowledge into one big piece. Say it's even a webinar. And it's been hours and days and even weeks of research and digging into the different sources and getting lots of different information from different, maybe even getting quotes from people, getting people to give their opinions on things. And to only use it once would be a real waste of time, to be honest. Because it might have been a paid webinar. You don't want to give all of the information away through your social channels or even by writing a blog about it. But niche, narrow it down, give them the highlights, give them the things that make them want to then buy the next webinar or the next thing that you're selling. Because by sharing out the information and the knowledge that you have, as Melanie says, in all these different formats, whether it be video, image, whether it be video, image, whether it be I was going to say, reels, infographics, whether it be carousels with just top 10 tips, one on each thing. You don't have to have your own face on it. You don't want to, as long as it has your branding. It can be short snippets, quote, or, like a Twitter style in the old days with 140 characters, just short and sharp and sweet. And it doesn't have to even redirect every time to your blog or to your webinar or to, the thing. It can just be, this is what I was thinking today.
Mic drop moment.
Yeah. And it can be, using one of the quotes or one of the pieces of information that somebody else gave you and tagging them in it to be seen by their audience as well. So there are so many things that you can do, that you can turn one big piece of content into lots of little smaller pieces, but you can also do it the other way around. If you've written tweets or posts on Facebook or Instagram posts, and they sort of have the same, they're all going in the same direction, they've got the same sort of underlying message, you can go in and pull them all together and make a blog post out of it and do it the other way around. So there are many, many ways. But once you put your information out there, don't think that everyone has seen it. Don't think that they're not going to want to see this or read this or hear this again. People forget, or people don't even realize that they didn't listen to it, or they did listen to it the first time round. There are so many things that people are being bombarded with on a daily basis that they're not going to remember. And that brings me to another point. A really good way to repurpose some of your blog posts is to change the image on them.
Beat me to it. I do that frequently. It's just because people think they've seen it or read it because they recognize the image, and they haven't. It's shown up in their feed numerous times in different places, so they think they have. Okay, so we've explained why we should, what it is, why we should, and how we should. Let's go into a bit more detail now when it comes to the tools that help us. So do you have any tools that you could suggest, Esther, that will help us repurpose this content?
So, for example, we're recording the podcast using Riverside, which is by Riverside. It's right. So right now we're using Riverside to record the podcast. We are recording it as a video because we then take the long video and Riverside gives us some snippets, but I also use an app called Minvo to give us other snippets and other shorts and reels that we can share out across social media. If you're taking your long blog, most of the time you remember what you wrote, and if you've got a listicle in it, that's an easy way to just grab the list of top 10 tips out of it. Otherwise, I would put that through an AI like ChatGPT, or there's many available now. There's Claude, there's Monica. I mean, a lot of them have got human names, but they are really good at doing that. You can use a virtual assistant to help you go through and troll through all the information and all the blog posts and all the videos and everything that you have, so they, with a fresh set of eyes, can say, this was really good. I think you should use these things in your next month's worth of content, because that you're going to get lots and lots and lots of things out of it that you can share across all the different platforms that you're on. So I would say use humans, like virtual assistants, use AI, use tools. There's also Opus Pro for shortening videos. What else would you use for shortening blog posts, for example? Because you've written loads of blog posts.
Well, again, I would have used ChatGPT, but largely a lot of my blogs go through Missing Letter. And those little excerpts that they actually produce is not the first time that I've cut and paste those excerpts and reuse them myself as social media posts. It's just convenient that they do it for me, so I don't have to do it for myself.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a good tool to use. And it saves you time, it saves you brain power, it saves you effort, it saves you pulling your hair out by going, I know I need to do this, but I don't have the time. So if you don't have the time, then fully rely on AI tools to do it. I grabbed the transcription from the podcast by using Happy Scribe, which again is it's an AI tool. At the end of the day, AI is helping so many businesses. And instead of me having to listen back to the episode and type out vigorously, because we do talk quite quickly, don't we? Instead of having to listen back, then just let the tools do it for you. Go in, make any corrections, change up anything that might be outdated, because we haven't even talked about non-evergreen content.
That's true.
So if you have a blog post even from 2 years ago that talks about changes in social media, it'll be out of date. Hate to tell you, even one that you wrote 2 months ago on changes in social media will be out of date, more than likely. But you can go in, make updates, make changes, then make your posts from it. And also remember that updating your blogs does help with your SEO, because the Google bot will see that you're making changes to your websites, and it will send the bot back to research everything. So it is a win-win situation for you and your business when you repurpose your.
So I'm hoping that everybody who's listening today has got a really good idea now of how and why and where and when and tools to use for repurposing. There really is no excuse for us to not do it. I know and I appreciate, myself and Esther both appreciate, we can be very, very, very busy. But it wouldn't be the first time that I'm sure you would admit you can also make yourself a bit of a busy fool as well. So we do need to set time aside to create content and to curate content. They both have a place in our strategy.
Yeah.
So I know I turned the tables on you today, Esther. You normally do it to me.
My time will come, don't worry. But before we sign off, I do want to say you can automate a lot of these things.
Yes.
Like Missing Letter is automated with the RSS feed. It automatically pulls a new blog in. It can automatically be set to give 12, 15, 20, whatever number of snippets you want. The same with the transcripts from the podcast. They automatically get pulled over to Happy Scribe. And again, it's if we don't make the time, then somebody else will.
Yep. So basically just get out of your own way. But that's all the time we have for this week. But we'll be back next week with a brand new podcast. Have a great week. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.